everyone, it's Christina and welcome back to another Plan with Polishland video. Today I wanted to share with you how I have set up my book journal for 2017. I began keeping a book journal last year and I really enjoyed it. I don't follow any sort of format, I just do my own thing, and I've changed it up a little bit this year to be even more organized in what I record about my reading. That being said, if you want to see last year's video about my 2016 book journal, I will link that on the screen and in the description box below. This year, I've decided to go for one of the bigger journals from Erin Condren. This is the kaleidoscope design, and I absolutely love it. The colors are really pleasing to the eye for me, and I just got Book Journal 2017 personalized on here. The cover is so smooth and buttery feeling. I love the way it feels, and the cover is also pretty sturdy. I actually bent this down here by accident, and you can't really tell unless you're looking for it. I decided to go with the lined pages. They also have a dot grid and I think a different setup as well. The pages are pretty thick. They don't feel as thick as the Life Planner pages, but they're still really nice. And if you're new to Erin Condren, I have a referral link that I will leave in the description box below where you can get $10 off your first purchase. But let's go ahead and jump right into the book journal here. On the first page, I have this bookshelf sticker that I got from Pretty on Paper Co. on Etsy. I will have a direct link to this sticker in the description box so you guys can find it easily. And I am just writing the titles of all the books I read in 2017 on the books here. This bookshelf has, I think, 52 books, so it's my goal to fill up the entire bookcase because my Goodreads goal this year is 50 books, and I think I can do it. Last year I read 67, so even if I slow down a little bit in my reading, I should be able to hit that this year. I know a lot of people hand draw these in their bullet journals or in their own book journals, but I just could not be bothered with that. I don't like drawing, and it was just so much easier to buy the sticker. Okay, the beginning is set up a little bit similar to how I did it last year. On the left side here, I have all of my completed series as of 2011, and I chose the year 2011 because that's when I got a Goodreads and started cataloging all of the books I read. The only exception to that is the Harry Potter series. I haven't read the whole series from start to finish since 2011, but I've obviously completed it, and I've read a handful of the books multiple times in the past few years, so that's why I included on the list. Over here, I decided to put all of the series I have yet to complete. This includes all of the series, whether or not the books are all published. So for example, the Song of Ice and Fire series, I've only read the first book, but not all of the books are out yet, so I would never be able to complete it until he writes more books, but that way I just have a complete list of all of my unfinished series. Now I'm going to skip ahead a few pages because I decided to set things up after I already began writing down some of my reviews. At the beginning of every month now, I want to keep a list of my library books and the books that I haul, which is the books I accumulate, whether books I purchase or get for review or get as gifts. So I began by writing down when I request the book and when I return the book, but what I've decided to do going forward is just write down the books that I check out of the library every month. That way I can see how many books I'm checking out and not just which ones I requested. Over here for the haul, I wrote down the title and the author. If it's an ebook, I'm putting an E in parentheses, and then I'm writing down the month that I read the book because I am trying to read books as soon as I haul them. So in January, I hauled 7 books and I read 1 in January, and then every month I'm going to come back and mark down when I read a book. So say I read 2 books from this list in February, I will write 2 read in February. So this I hope to put at the beginning of every month so I can see how many books I'm getting from the library and how many I'm accumulating. I'm going to go back now because this is how I write out my reviews. I am going to cover this for just a second because I do write spoilers in my reviews. So if you don't want to be spoiled on any of the books I read, just don't read the review. This one is a great example. It's of Inferno by Dan Brown. So what I'm doing is I write the date that I write the review. I write the number of book it is. So this was the first book I read this year. And then I just keep some bullet points, my thoughts on the book, what I want to put in my written review. The point of this is because because I write book reviews on Goodreads and on my blog, Adventures in Polishland. So I like to have an outline of what I'm going to say in those written reviews, and I take that directly from here. So I just write down all of my thoughts, and then at the end I write down what I loved, what I didn't like, and I write down my star rating. And you'll see that I do that for every book I read. So I'm just going to flip through. These are all my thoughts on books. Oh, okay, here's something new. If I decided to do this at the beginning of the year, this would be at the front of the journal, but it's not, and that's okay. I am participating in Diversity Bingo 2017, which is a challenge to help increase the diversity in my reading. So there are 36 different prompts, and I wrote them all out, and every time I complete one, I write it down in a pink marker so it stands out a little bit. Now, I don't think I am going to get to all 36 prompts, but I would like to see how diverse my reading is in 2017, and I've already noticed that this is helping me pick out which new books to read as well. So I will leave a link to the Diversity Bingo card in the description box. You can go ahead and print it out from a PDF file, but I just wanted to handwrite it in my journal. Okay, flipping over, I also have a Read-A-Thon list. I like to participate in Read-A-Thons that are hosted mainly through BookTube, and the Diverse-A-Thon was the first one I joined. So I just wrote down the books that I was reading for the Read-A-Thon and the ones I finished and began. Usually I have more things to write down on Read-A-Thon pages, such as challenges or page counts, but I didn't have to keep track of that for this Read-A-Thon, so that's why it looks a little bit blank. Then at the end of the month, I have a wrap-up and a stats page, and this year I've spread it out onto 2 pages because I wanted to, first of all, write down the titles of the books that I read during the month, and I also wanted just more room in general. So right now this is going to look a little blank, but I'm going to walk through this to share with you how I set it up. So first I have my quick wrap-up, which is just the title and author of every book. Then I write down the number of books I read, the number of pages I read. I like to keep track of the average page count per book and the average page count per day. This year, I've decided to look at the reading level of all my books. I did do this last year, but I considered it part of the genre category, so I've separated that out. I'm also keeping track of the book format, the physical books versus ebooks. I'm looking at the source of the book. Is it a book that I owned, or is it a book I got from the library? Then I look at the genre. Now, genre for me isn't perfect because some books have more than one genre, and it's hard to distinguish between which category it fits into perfectly. But this year I did decide to change up something, and that was I separated out contemporary romance from contemporary because there are a lot of contemporary books that focus solely on the romance. So for example, Love at First Sight by Josh Sundquist, it did deal with some serious topics, but it was mainly about the romance. And a book like A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, while there was a small romance aspect of the book, that was not the main plot at all, so I just put that in contemporary. So this might get a little problematic, but we shall see. I actually did read quite a few different genres in January, which is awesome, but I expect this list to grow as the year goes on, which is why I have a lot of space here. Then I write down the star rating, and I take the average for the month and the year. So that's what I'm going to be doing every month. I already messed up February a little bit. I should have written February library books here and February book haul over on this side, and then put my Read-A-Thon TBR on the next page, but that's okay. I will get the hang of it in March. I am participating in TBR Takedown, which is February 6th through the 12th, and I've already started writing down my TBR for that. But that is how I have my book journal set up. So let me just walk through a couple of things again. At the beginning of every month, I'll be writing down my library books and my book haul. Then I will fill the month with my book review notes, and if I participate in any read-a-thons or other bookish events, I will write that down as well. And then I will conclude the month with my wrap-up and my statistics. So that's everything in my 2017 book journal. I think I will need to buy another one of these because I've already used up a good portion for January here, but I do have some extra pages in there because of the beginning of the year stuff. Nonetheless, I am really enjoying this new journal setup, especially with this bookcase from Pretty on Paper Co. That just makes it really pretty as soon as I open it. And yeah, I'm just really loving this new setup. If you guys keep a book journal, let me know in the comments. Do you have a physical book journal like I do, or do you do everything on the computer? I also use Goodreads, and if you would like to add me on there, I always have that link in the description box below. And if you want to see any more bookish content from me, you can follow me on my blog where I post book reviews. And I also have a Bookstagram account, which is a book Instagram, and I will leave that linked for you guys below as well. If you are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. I post planner-related content such as Plan With Me videos, sticker hauls, and more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.